Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Sunday morning Boomer Bust show. I'm going to be your host today. Our fearless leader is out this week. He might join in later, but we'll see how he's feeling after last night.
He's questionable. He's questionable.
He is truly questionable to return. But I'm joined by the handsome Rob Sullivan. Sully, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
Pretty good. I wish our teams played each other. I wish it could have ended a little bit better, but the food was very good. I'm still eating it, and I'll probably finish eating it today. So
That's awesome.
How was yours?
Well, it was Thursday where I am. So Canada celebrates Thanksgiving in October and not November when you guys do. So, but we celebrate it nonetheless by watching football, and then Black Friday's a thing here too. So it was all right. I think we were fortunate to beat your Patriots, like we discussed before we came on. But Vikings kind of needed that win after getting their doors blown off by the Cowboys the week before. But a lot of good things on the Patriots. Mac Jones looked really good. I think your defense is solid. And, if Harris didn't go down, I think that game would have been a little bit different because he seemed to be the guy running the ball well for you. And Ramondre just caught a bunch of passes like he always does. But, yeah, it was a good day. It was a good game. And I kind of like the Sundays where my team doesn't play. It's just chill. So, I like it.
It's kind of funny because the Patriots offense has only looked good maybe a couple of times this year, and both times they look good, their defense looked bad. It's like they can't put it all together. Just out of just the games I remember, like Chicago, our offense looked all right. The Ravens, our offense looked all right. Or no, the Chicago, they did not. That's when Mac Jones got benched. And then this week against them. And then every other week, it seems like our offense can't move the ball and our defense is stout. So it seems like if they could put that together, that'd be a pretty nice. I thought
your defense just struggled a little bit with Jefferson, but I think 31 defenses in the league probably would struggle with Justin Jefferson. He's just at another level. But Hunter Henry looked relevant for the first time in a long time. And I thought that Mac Jones looked as good as I've ever seen him. So I think there's some potential there. And part of it is I don't think Minnesota's defense is all that great. But
that's for sure.
The good news is your team is still right in the running there. That division is crazy. It's super tight. And the Jets look like they're going the wrong way. And so you might sneak in, grab a wild card, and then who knows what happens.
Yeah, and I came to that conclusion I said before the stream, and Jefferson I don't think it's a guy you can shut down. I think you have to shut down the quarterback to be able to shut him down because he's just an insane athlete. So
I was thrilled to see Kirk Cousins in prime time not throw up all over himself like he normally does. So that was encouraging as well.
And he said he's getting a grill, so I'm excited to see that.
Awesome.
All right, we got some questions piling in, and Sweet. Michael here asked this before the stream even started. Miles Sanders or Samaje Perine? Sanders has been letting me down the past few weeks. Who do you have out of these two, Sully?
I struggle with this one because I have some shares of Miles Sanders, and he has been letting us down as of late, and it's more usage than anything. They're just not using Miles Sanders as much, and where they're really not using him at all is in the passing game. And then when I look at Samaje Perine, I don't know, am I chasing kind of fool's gold there with last week? Maybe. But Mixon is out, and Perine does catch passes. And who are they playing today? Cincinnati plays Tennessee. Tough run defense, but not the greatest against the pass for the running back. So I'm still with Miles Sanders here, but it's pretty close to me. I could go either way, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to lean Samaje Perine for the point you alluded to, and that's that.
I don't blame you at all.
He catches passes, and Joe Burrow loves to throw it to the running back. Joe Mixon's by no means some elite back out of the backfield, but he gets a ton of PPR work.
Yeah.
And I think Samaje Perine might be a better receiving back than Joe Mixon, just not a better actual true runner, in my opinion. So I'll go with Samaje Perine with that PPR upside, but I agree that it is close between these two guys. Castile went against you and put Zeke in on Thursday. Decent game, I believe. And then
good job.
Chubb and Jeff Wilson, Juju or Debo in standard scoring, and he says he needs one for each position. So one running back and one wide receiver. Are you going to give him an honest answer here? Are you going to send him the wrong way since he's playing you?
Well, he made the right call on Thursday. I think Jeff Wilson has a chance to be the number one overall running back this week. Like, he's in a smash spot. Raheem Mostert is not probably going to go. I don't think that I can't even remember the backs behind them in Miami. Gaskin and someone else that I can't remember. I don't think they're taking anything away from him. So it's raining in Cleveland today. I don't know if that means anything. Chubb has been disappointing the last couple of weeks. I'm Jeff Wilson there for sure. And Juju and Debo, both kind of questionable coming in. Debo's got a bit of a hamstring thing that was bugging him in Mexico on Monday, and Juju looks like he's cleared the protocol and he's good to go. Juju's got to be the top target in Kansas City this week. So I'm going to go with Juju. How about yourself?
Yeah, I was surprised because usually it's you start your studs. But the fact of the matter is Chubb has been somewhat disappointing recently. Deshaun Watson comes back next week. They're playing against Tampa Bay, whose run defense is stout.
It's really come alive the last few weeks, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've been pretty good, decent all year against the run, at least. And, I'm not sure against receiving backs, they might be a little bit softer, but they've got the perfect run defense with linebackers and interior defensive linemen to be able to shut down Nick Chubb, who doesn't really get a lot of value as a receiving back. And Miami now has just Jeff Wilson Jr., who already is familiar with the coaching staff and the offense. I'm also going Jeff Wilson Jr. here. And then this one's tough because Debo has been super inconsistent all year, where Juju was coming alive the past few weeks. I obviously didn't play last week because of injury. So I am also going to go Juju Smith-Schuster. No Kadarius Toney. No Mecole Hardman. It's just him and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Juju is a much better option outside of the 50, 60-yard deep ball that Valdez-Scantling is good for here and there.
Totally agree.
So I'm going to go with you on these two. But I will say I don't think you can go wrong any which way.
Yeah, I keep waiting for Chubb to break one, and he just isn't right now. But ironically, he scored all of his points last week against the Bills via the pass. Like, he had 2 or 3 screens that he took 20, 30 yards.
Yep.
Or else he had 19 rushing yards last week. So I'm a little concerned with Nick Chubb, but where I have him, I don't have a choice. If I had a Jeff Wilson, I would do it, but I don't.
And I feel like if you have a running back that's not really a threat in the pass game, the only time they are is during screens. Like, I feel like that's what Derrick Henry's good at too.
100%. You're right, because there's no real scripted plays for them. There's no wheel routes for those guys, right? So, totally.
Yep. Najee or Samaje Perine today? We're getting a lot of Perine today. Najee is against the Colts, and that's tomorrow night.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Samaje Perine. I'll take the back that might get just as much PPR work, and I think he has a better chance of finding the end zone today. So I'll go Samaje.
Yeah, I'm still Najee here. I liked what I saw out of him last week, and what is that young guy, Jalen Warren? Is that his name? He's out. So not that I think that's a huge thing, but it's he's back. Najee's back to bell cow status, regardless if they want him to be or not here. So I think he has what it takes to surpass Samaje here. But he's very similar to Miles Sanders. These guys are all really close for me, and I could see this one going either way. So I wouldn't fight you on going Samaje here at all, but I'll go with Najee.
Dynasty 12-team Superflex PPR. Should I trade away Christian Watson to get DJ Moore? Heat. Is Sam Darnold officially the starter, right? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man.
Sam Darnold started last year on absolute fire, and so did DJ Moore. Now that might just be an incredibly small sample size. I think I want DJ Moore here. I think in the dynasty format, I don't think DJ is super old. You have to think Carolina is going to get a frickin' quarterback at some point. Christian Watson, I like what I see, but he could very easily be with Jordan Love next year and not Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to go with DJ Moore. I would make this trade, especially if I'm not contending this season. If I'm contending this season, I pause a little bit and might hang on to Watson. But if I'm not, I'm going to go with DJ Moore.
I think I'm going to agree with you here. DJ Moore just also has Christian Watson's been having drop issues, and he had those all the way in college. So DJ Moore doesn't. DJ Moore's production has been just solely on the QB play because he is a great athlete. So I think I'll agree, but I think if I'm a contender, I'd keep Christian Watson. His touchdown upside's much, much higher than.
Yeah, I think this season you have to, right? Like DJ's kind of dead this year, unfortunately.
Good day for fancy people. What's up, Thomas?
Thomas, good to see you, man.
Always in here. What's good, gentlemen? I need one running back, one wide receiver, one flex, full PPR. Aaron Jones, Deontay Foreman, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashad White, Chris Olave, Christian Watson, or Devontae Smith. What a problem to have.
I don't have any rosters that are this good.
I have one redraft where it's like 10 people, and I'm pretty deep. And my first one, I'm definitely putting in Aaron Jones. And then for wide receiver, I'm definitely putting in Chris Olave. Actually, is AJ Brown playing today?
Believe he is. Yep.
I knew he was having a stomach problem.
Oh, I didn't see that. So last I saw, he was.
It says he's dealing with a bug. Okay, he's probably going to play. So I'll go Chris Olave and Aaron Jones. And in my flex play, I think I'm going to go with Rashad White. I think he gets all the work today, all the PPR work.
Sweet matchup too.
Yeah, great matchup. They see that they have to have that run game and the play action for that offense to be full caliber, like they're full threat. So I think Rashad White easily has 30 touch upside today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 20 to 25 carries along with 5 to 10 catches would not surprise me today at all. Like he might get peppered everywhere. So I'll go with those three guys right there.
I'm going to agree with you on Aaron Jones, although I'm a little bit concerned. He was a little bit banged up in the game last week, and Philly's a rock solid defense, but it's one of those situations where I believe if you have Aaron Jones on your roster, you're putting him in your lineup. When it comes to the receiver, New Orleans plays San Francisco. They're a little bit challenging. Watson, I just think regression is coming for him in a big way. Like he's not going to score 2 and 3 touchdowns every week. And if he doesn't, I don't think he's going to do much. It's supposed to be rain/snow in Philly tonight, so not ideal. So I'm going to take Watson and Smith off the board just because of that. I'm going to agree with you on Chris Olave. And I'm going to agree with you on Rashad White. And I've been sort of trying to poo-poo Rashad White all week. And maybe it's because I have so many shares of Leonard Fournette and none of White. And I just figured, Tampa Bay's receivers seem to be healthy for the first time all season. And I figured this would be one of those games where Brady just goes out and throws the ball 55 times for 400-plus yards. But it's raining, and it's kind of windy, and Cleveland's run defense stinks. And Rashad White could easily go for 120 and 2 or something like that in this one. Like I think he has the ability to just go nuts. So I'd put him – I agree with you 100%. Those are the 3 guys that I'm putting in.
So let me ask you, this is a selfish question. Rashad White or Aaron Jones?
I think you have to stick with Aaron Jones, but I'm not going to fight you on that one. I'm in a guillotine league where I have Chubb, Jones, Connor, and I'm putting all those guys in today, and I don't feel great about any of them.
You said the weather's supposed to be crappy in Philly tonight?
Yeah, it's a mix of it says rain right now, but earlier it said snow. And the 13-mile-an-hour wind. Cleveland, you have – what is Cleveland here? 1 sec. 51 degrees, rain, and a 9-mile-an-hour wind, so not terrible. And I don't know how heavy the rain is, but I don't know. I think anytime the weather's less than ideal, it tends to take away from the passing and kicking games and lead more to the run game. So I don't know. I wouldn't make a drastic change on those, but you got the same weather in both spots, right? If you're picking between Jones and White, both guys should be featured heavily in their offense. I might actually go Rashad White just because he's healthy and Jones is coming in a little banged up. But
that's what I did because I was worried about Aaron Jones being maybe a little banged up and AJ Dillon getting a little bit more touches for that reason.
Yeah. They're super close in my rankings. They're like 2 apart. So
Tyler Lockett or Juju, half PPR.
Seattle playing the Raiders at home. I think I stick with Juju.
I'm also sticking with Juju Smith-Schuster being like the only wide receiver target in that offense today.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Justin Watson or Sky Moore or MVS at all.
Yeah. Kamara or Amari in a non-PPR? I'm probably going with Amari Cooper here.
Yeah, Kamara's not 100%. There's something wrong with him. I think it's a bug or something with him as well, but he's expected to play. Plays the Niners, and the Niners are stupid good on defense, especially against the running backs. I think I have to go with Amari here as well. And I know I was just talking about how the weather impacts the passing game, but Jacoby's looked really good the last couple of weeks, and this is his farewell effort, right? Like they're starting Watson next week regardless. Yep. So he's probably going balls out tonight. So I like it.
He just airs it out.
Why not, right? So I think Amari Cooper's the play here, and to a lesser extent, I like Donovan Peoples-Jones this week too.
Antonio Gibson versus a bad Falcons run defense, or Ayuk or Juju Smith-Schuster. What do you like here?
Washington against Atlanta at home. Ayuk at home to New Orleans, and Juju, is he home or on the road? He is home to the Rams. I think I'm sticking with Juju. I just think the volume is going to be there for him. The Rams are a mess, and I think he scores easily. So I'm going to go with Juju.
Yep, I'm going to stick with Juju Smith-Schuster this week. I liked him like I liked Kadarius Toney last week. Unfortunately, obviously, the injury ruined that. But
yeah,
I think healthy, he would have had a nice week. But what can you do? This guy is putting out a distress call. He needs 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. I got Hopkins, Scary Terry, Kirk, Evans, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen.
Holy crap.
Connor, Monty, Wilson Jr., Michael Carter. So easy ones for me here are Hopkins and Wilson Jr. personally. I think those are the 2, the flex and the wide receiver. I think I'm going to go with.
It's the second wide receiver that is tough. But I agree.
You could go 3 wide receivers here and not be wrong, but I think Jeff Wilson Jr. just gets a lot of work today.
Totally. You know, Houston's run defense is the worst in the league, and I think he just feeds off of that all day. And I'm not sitting Hopkins under any circumstances.
No.
Especially without a slot game there with Moore and Dortch both probably out. Marquise Brown does come back this week, but I can't imagine he's coming back to be anything but a compliment to Hopkins. So I'm struggling between Evans, Cooper, and Allen right now.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly who it's between. Evans is against the Cleveland. They're bad. Amari Cooper is against Tampa Bay. They're middle of the pack. And then Keenan Allen, who do they play today?
They play, I'm trying to find it. Why can't I'm looking right at it? They play Arizona in Arizona.
Are they not? Is Arizona pretty good against the pass this year?
Their defense is okay, but it seems to be getting worse as the season progresses. Mike Evans hasn't caught a touchdown in it feels like forever. I think it's like week 6. Cleveland got I think it's Denzel Ward. I can't remember his first name, but they got him back last week, and I thought he was really good against Diggs. Took Diggs away for the majority of that game. Cooper's going to be targeted heavily, like we talked about.
Yeah, I
don't even know how I ranked it. I think I'm going Amari Cooper.
I'm going Amari Cooper here. I guess Jacoby Brissett's last game, he might just throw it 40 times and, try and get himself some value or go out on a nice note of a nice stat line. But so I'll just go. And Amari Cooper, I think, is probably the best receiver out of these guys outside of Hopkins. Like actually best receiver when he tries.
Yeah, if Keenan Allen was 100%, I would lean that way. But no Mike Williams. Palmer's there. I'm changing. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen. But I have nothing to say against any one of those guys. But I do believe that Wilson Jr. and Hopkins are for sure 2. And then this is one of those times where your roster is too good and you pull your hair out a little bit making these decisions. But I think you're good. If you went with Evans, Cooper, or Allen, I think you're good regardless. I just see the upside being with Allen.
I agree. Standard, need to flex 1. So standard league. Foreman, Palmer, or I'm assuming Christian Watson. Yeah, being a standard league, who would you like here?
Standard league, I usually tend to like the running back more than the receiver. Carolina plays Denver, who is good, but not nearly as good since Bradley Chubb left. So all that being said, I'm going to ride the hot hand, and I'm going to go with Palmer with Mike Williams out.
I think I'm going to lean with Christian Watson just because of the touchdown upside.
I don't blame you there.
I couldn't believe how well Palmer did last week with all three. Did Mike Williams get hurt early in the game, or did he play the whole game?
Got hurt on his first catch,
oh,
which was early. I think it was a contested catch on the sidelines for like 20 yards. And
yeah, Palmer is way more efficient as the number 2 option in that receiving core. But I'll go with the guy I like with the best chance to score touchdowns, which is Watson. Palmer did have 2 last week, I think.
He did.
But Watson now is on 3 games in a row with touchdowns, so maybe he can make it 4. So I'll roll with that.
I like it.
What's up, Marco? Our German Patreons here this morning. I don't know what time it is for them. I think it's way later.
Oh, it's got to be like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's my line on that.
Tua or Burrow?
Gross. That's hard.
That's what she said.
I'm going to go with Joe Burrow, and the only reason I'm going to go with Joe Burrow is I just don't know how much Miami needs to throw the ball against Houston, and I know they still will because they're not going to just not use Waddle and Hill, but I just really like Jeff Wilson to go ham today, and Burrow's Burrow. Like he's throwing for feels like 300 and a pair every week, regardless of who he's throwing them to. He's throwing touchdowns to guys I've never heard of. Like he's just at another level. So I don't think you make a wrong decision here. They're both in my top 6, but I'm going to go with Burrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go with Burrow as well. And even though I don't think it really matters that Houston's the number 1 defense against the pass, because I don't think that Miami receiving core can be stopped by anybody. It might at least take away one player or like hinder him a little bit. Where Burrow, again, I think he's gonna have to throw it all game, and it's gonna have to be quick passes all day. We saw last week what he could do, even with Chase not in the offense. So Houston's slot corner, and I will never remember his name, is just I heard on another podcast or read somewhere that he's one of Pro Football Focus's top ranked slot corners. Now I don't know if that's because there's not a ton of volume or he's just really good. So if anything, maybe Waddle gets a little bit less. But you're right. Like, how do you not use those guys and just use their speed and their yards after the catch abilities? Put the ball in their hands. Yeah. And they all line up everywhere. Like you'll see Waddle out and then Hill in the slot. So it's just the offensive coordinator has all the options. So totally. Sutton or Marquise Brown? Weren't you big on Sutton last week? I was, and I was right. Were you? Yeah, it was against Mike Williams, and I told Rick. We both picked Mike Williams. Yeah. I was worried about his ankle, and lo and behold, I get stuff right every once in a while. Who the hell is Denver? Denver against Carolina, Arizona against the Chargers. Both decent matchups. My wife has a theory that she never plays a guy coming back off of injury, and I don't necessarily agree with it. But in the league that we share, she kicked my ass this year. So I'm going to go with her thought process, and I'm going to go with Sutton because of that. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking here too. Jerry Jeudy's out again this week. I'm assuming he might be back next week, but I'm gonna take Sutton here to see what Marquise Brown's usage is coming off injury and with D Hop in the lineup. First time we've seeing those two on the field together. So Kyler Murray gets an uptick in his value for sure. Tyler Lockett or Samaje Perine in full PPR. I'm taking Samaje Perine here for. It just feels wrong, but I'll join you. Yeah. I mean, I really don't think that, like, if you change Samaje's Perine with Joe Mixon, like, it doesn't affect it. I don't think it goes down much. Like, I think Joe Mixon's good and all, but I don't think he's anything super spectacular. I think he's just a product of a lot of usage. I think you're right. He's been one of, at least earlier on this season, I haven't looked recently, he was one of the least efficient running backs in the game. So you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if with how many running backs are going to be free agents next year, I would not be surprised if the Bengals either got one in free agency or drafted one to slowly kind of take over the starting running back gig. They should absolutely do that. I think he's got to be up there. He's got to be getting close to that. Yeah, 27 going to be 28 next season. So yeah, that's time to fall off a cliff, right, for a running back. So help pick 2: Olave, Cooper, Pittman. Man,
I'm sitting Pittman.
I don't know. He's going against the Steelers, whose secondary is not very good.
Mika Fitzpatrick will be back. I think he'll take care of Pittman.
I think so. He needs a safety, and Pittman doesn't get a lot of his volume, deep. He's more of like in between the numbers, kind of middle of the field.
Fair. How about TJ Watt sacks Matt Ryan 7 times?
That's definitely possible.
That offensive line is not great, and Watt will get home all day long. I like Olave and Cooper more than I like Pittman, and that's probably why I'm going to sit Pittman here.
Man, Pittman did pretty good last week against Philly, who's got a good secondary. I think I like Pittman here.
Okay.
I think I'll sit all at similar QB play too. I think I'll sit Olave, and I hate it. I really hate it. I think let me say this. I'll take Pittman as my safest pick here, and then if you want to go ceiling, go with Amari Cooper, and if you want to go floor, go with Chris Olave for your second receiver.
I think Pittman might be the floor play.
I think so too. That's why he's my safest out of the guys. Like I think he has I think he's got a decent ceiling out of all these options still, but also the safest floor out of all these guys. Like I think Pittman could easily demand the most targets of both of these guys.
He probably could. I think what goes against Olave is he hasn't been getting a ton of targets, but he's been ultra productive with what he's gotten, and he's scored some big long plays and things like that. I have Cooper at 14, Olave at 18, and Pittman at 22, and I'm starting to think maybe I need to move Pittman up and Olave down, but I'm going to stick with Olave and Cooper here, but you make good points.
Yeah. You can't go wrong in that situation either. All right, Marco. Starting 3, DeMarcus Robinson, Sky Moore, Josh Palmer, Brandon Cooks, and Jahan Dotson.
See, this is the shit that I like because these are what my rosters look like.
Yeah.
I'm starting Palmer.
Well, Palmer's the easy one for sure. How many targets did DeMarcus Robinson get last week?
I don't know, but he was like 6 for 123 or something like that. He's questionable. He'll probably play, but he's questionable.
9 for 128.
Yeah.
9 for 9. I caught every single target.
That's a career for him, right? Like that's got to be the best game of his life.
Yeah. He probably had some touchdown game. I bet he had a 2 touchdown game
at
one point in Kansas City, but
how's the Jags secondary? Any idea?
Let me see.
They're kind of a team I don't pay any attention to other than ETN and T-Law, so I'm not really sure what they look like on the other side of the ball.
I can tell you what they're ranked against. Let me see here. I guess I only have against the tight end. They're ranked all right. Let me see here. Jags.
I think someone has to help Juju out today, and I don't know why, but I like Sky Moore. He kind of came alive a little bit in the last one, but granted, Juju wasn't there. I'm not trusting Robinson. The guy's that's the best game of his life, so I'm staying away from there. Palmer for sure. I'm Palmer, Moore, and now I don't know if I go Cooks or Dotson. Atlanta's defense stinks against the pass. Cooks plays the Dolphins, who have been getting lit up pretty good too. But I think he's falling out of favor, and it's also Kyle Allen starting for Houston today instead of Davis Mills, and I don't know if that makes a difference.
Probably not.
I'm going to roll with Sky Moore, Palmer, and Dotson here.
I think I'm going to go the opposite on my other two. I think I'm going to stick with DeMarcus Robinson just solely because there's no other options outside of Mark Andrews to throw the ball to. I guess Isaiah Likely would probably be the second best option.
Sounds like he's out, though.
Yeah, that's what I was – yeah, you got that. And then I'll take Brandon Cooks again because there's no one else to throw to. So I would imagine you got a quarterback coming in for the first time. He's going to try and throw it to the best athlete, and that's Brandon Cooks. So –
yeah, Nico Collins is there as well, but I don't think that Nico Collins is going to the Pro Bowl anytime soon, so you're probably right.
Good morning. Choose a quarterback, Brady, Jimmy G, Derek Carr, Matt Ryan, or Russell Wilson.
I might as well just go to my rankings.
It's not Russell Wilson. I can guarantee you that.
It's not Matt Ryan either.
It's definitely not Man, I don't know. That's the one where I struggle with because again, he's going against Pittsburgh, whose secondary is so bad.
You've always loved him, hey? You've had a soft spot in your heart for Matt Ryan forever.
I just like that he throws the ball 40 times a game.
I don't know if he does now, though. Don't they run the ball 40 times today?
They might. I think they play tomorrow, but yeah, they might.
Brady, Jimmy, Carr.
Did Brady play again? They play Cleveland. I'm going to go.
Brady, Jimmy, Carr. Yeah, I'm going with Brady. And if I didn't go with Brady, I would go with Garoppolo. He's been very consistently producing for that offense.
Yeah, I'd probably go Matt Ryan second, Jimmy G, then Derek Carr. Russell, easy last for me. Brady did one single.
Brady, Jimmy, Carr, Ryan Wilson for me. It's a lot of quarterbacks. What kind of freaking league is that?
I know. It might be the waiver wire.
Yeah, it could be.
He might have like I don't know who's not playing today.
Maybe he had Fields as his QB and needs someone, right?
Yep. That's probably a good situation. No, thank you, Richard Jennings, and everyone hit that like button and subscribe.
Yeah,
if you haven't done so already. We definitely appreciate you guys. You'll get notified every time we go live. So hit that like button. Titan CW, pick one for the flex: Christian Watson, Devontae Smith, Treylon Burks, or George Pickens.
So you were so spot on with Pickens last week. You nailed that. Every Pickens question, you went with Pickens, and I went against you on every single one of them, and he had a great game. So good job to you on that one.
He's not the answer this week, though.
Probably not, hey?
I think he's the number one. I think now he could draw number one corners, and the Colts are very, very, very good against receivers.
He'll get Gilmore today then probably, right?
Yes, which I think that's a good matchup. Like I think that'd be a really fun battle to watch, like old against new. Kind of both guys have been really, really good so far, in their career. And Gilmore's having like a nice little
he's bouncing back last
twilight, kind of twilight in his career, and he's looked really good.
Is George Pickens the number one wide receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers now?
I think so.
Me too.
I said, like, this is the guy. George Pickens and Chris Olave were the same. I had the same feeling about them. Like, Chris Olave more reminds me of, like, I think he'll get, like, more of a Waddle feel because I think he produces more in a volume, where George Pickens kind of gives me more of, like, a Mike Evans type of feel, where
totally
big-bodied receiver that can make these crazy catches, or even DeAndre Hopkins. Like, he's got, like, that. Like
I viewed them both the same as well, but I was wrong about both of them. So I didn't really like either one of them coming out. But whoops.
George Pickens just had soft tissue injuries coming out, which usually doesn't translate well, but he stayed healthy. So
and stupid good numbers in college too. So yeah. So what do you think you're doing here?
I think I'm gonna go with not Treylon Burks. He's out of this for me. I'd have to see it 2 weeks in a row. Man, I'm gonna go with Christian Watson.
I'm really having a hard time with this one because
this is tough.
I like the Tennessee offense and what they're doing. They're throwing the ball the last few weeks, and I think it was Hooper and
Treylon. When that?
Well, the week before that, before Treylon came back, it was Nick Westbrook-Akeen, and it was Hooper, and then it was Treylon last week. And it seems like they've sort of flicked a switch in Tennessee and realized that it can't be 100% Derrick Henry all the time. I just see regression coming for Christian Watson. If he doesn't catch those touchdowns, he's probably an average play. This one's between Burks and Pickens for me, which is kind of crazy because I wasn't crazy about either one of them. But I'm going Treylon Burks here. And I just think that he's going to get targeted and he's going to have enough volume to carry you through, and he might score. So I think Watson gives you the upside. Obviously, we've seen what he can do. Devontae is so hit and miss. I just can't trust him. And to your point, I think Pickens is going to get some Gilmore treatment this week, which is not a bad thing, but I think it'll take away from his upside. So I'm going to go against the grain and go with Treylon Burks here.
Okay. I can't blame you there. I mean, he might get peppered today, which would be great for me and the shares I have of him in some dynasty leagues. PPR, choose 2 wide receivers. It's crazy how many of these young wide receivers now are getting put in these questions.
Yeah, they're all coming alive in the second half, right?
Yep. Full PPR, choose 2. choose 2 wide receivers and a flex. Pittman Jr., Treylon Burks, Darnell Mooney, London, Sutton, Pirine, Kyron. I'll let you go first.
All right. So 2 wide receivers. I will go with Pittman, and I will go with Sutton, and my flex will be Pirine.
I will go with Pittman easily, and then I'm going to go with Burks.
Oh boy.
I do like Burks better than these options. And then I'm going Pirine pretty easily for the flex.
Yeah.
Yep. Ooh. Jonathan Taylor or Rachaad White, PPR.
Come on.
Yeah. It is a come on, but man, I'd really want to get both these guys. I mean, JT's in your lineup, but I really would want to get Rachaad White in my lineup.
Yeah, I'd really like to see who you're flexing and who your other running back is if you can't get this guy in. If it's not Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry, then I think it's probably going to be Rachaad White this week.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And hey, Rachaad White could very, very easily outscore Jonathan Taylor this week. I wouldn't even be remotely surprised. But no, man, we saw Jonathan Taylor sort of come back to who he was in the last time out, breaking off big runs and being the focal point of that offense. You can't sit that guy.
Yeah, I agree. He's the guy you can't sit. Marco, I'm just going to call this a start one because Jonathan Taylor's in our lineups. Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell, and then James Robinson. And for me, it's kind of easily Isaiah Pacheco.
Yep. I don't know how it's not, so I agree.
He's got to find the end zone. I mean, he's getting 15, 16 touches a week. He's getting like 6 yards a carry, like super, super, super efficient, just not used in the pass game right now.
That's the knock on him in the half PPR, but I don't think Mitchell is really involved in that part of the offense for San Francisco either, and James Robinson certainly isn't. So the volume play is Pacheco. I think he was over 100 yards last week as the first Kansas City running back over 100 yards in a significant period of time, and he gets 10 to 15, 16 touches a game. I think so. Easy. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Hey, thanks, guys. You helped me get the W's. That's what we're here for.
Love it. Glad somebody's getting some W's. It's awesome.
Yeah. It seems like I can't get it myself. I can help others.
Right.
Bench 1, ET and DK, Debo, AJ Brown, full PPR. Who you benching?
Wow. I'm going to bench Debo. And that feels wrong, but I am.
I think I'm benching. I think it's between Debo and DK for me, and I think it's Debo. I think we got to bench him. Too many mouths to feed in that 49ers offense to feel comfortable starting him over the guys.
He's got a bit of a questionable hamstring, and you take away, and I know you can't take away stuff. If you say you take away from this guy or that guy, you could take away everything. But he had a rather fortunate 39-yard touchdown run last game that if he doesn't have that, his game was very pedestrian. So it seems weird to be down to DK and Debo for a sit, but that's where we are.
Mm-hmm. Top of the morning, fellas. Do you start Njoku with the weather or Juwan Johnson against the 49ers?
I think you start Njoku's not 100%. He's back. But he definitely was impacted and split with Harrison Bryant last week. Juwan Johnson is just all touchdown. That's all he is. But I think he's scored in like 4 of the last 5. So I don't want to have to rely on the touchdown. David Njoku should play enough snaps, whether regardless. Jacoby Brissett is locked onto tight ends his entire career. I think that continues. I will go with David Njoku, but this is way closer than it should be.
Yeah, I'm going to also lean David Njoku here. Juwan Johnson is touchdown dependent, and he finds it seems like every week. But, I mean, the 49ers defense is really, really stout. So I'll go with Njoku, the better athlete. And I think even though the weather might be crappy, it wouldn't surprise me if they still drop back and throw it a ton.
I think they're probably going to have to, right?
Yeah. PPR. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Christian Watson, Michael Carter, or Deontay Johnson at the flex. Who you got here?
You got one of these guys?
Looks like it.
Sheesh. Michael Carter's very interesting to me this week with Mike White as QB. Remember when he played last year, I think he targeted his running backs like upwards of 20 times a game. So that's very intriguing to me. I really like what Donovan Peoples-Jones has been doing. He's been like 6 for 70 the last 5 games, and last week he got in the end zone. Christian Watson, I keep thinking Christian Watson's going to score 75 fantasy points today because I keep saying he's going to regress. And I don't know what to make of Deontay Johnson right now. I think with Pickett, it's just not – this is tough for me, but I'm going to go with Michael Carter against the Bears. The Bears are not very good on defense anymore after trading everybody away. I'm going Michael Carter.
I think I'm gonna Michael. It's between Michael Carter and Christian Watson for me, and I'm gonna stay rolling with the hot hand and go with Christian Watson. But I think all the points you made are very, very good, and it's between those two for me. Deontay Johnson has been one guy that I was really big on this offseason. He's kind of disappointed. I think it's mostly because of newer QB play, but
yeah, I agree. I was high on him too. It just doesn't seem to be happening.
Oh, it's almost 6 o'clock or almost 5 p.m. 6-hour time difference here.
Nice.
They went back to back telling us too. Both there.
They're on their ball. Eh? They know what they're doing over there across the pond.
I'm wary on starting tight end Njoku today. My alternative is Kmet. Thoughts? Wow. I think I'm going to roll with Cole Kmet. Did you see that catch he made last week?
Yeah.
That was insane. I watched it live and I was like, holy crap.
It's almost like
while getting hit.
It's almost like guys don't want to catch with 2 hands anymore. These guys are so freaking good with 1 hand. Fields is out, but Simeon might actually be better for the passing game, as dumb as that sounds. They're not going to have the rush ability out of their running or their quarterback as they have previously. So Trevor Simeon might throw the ball 45 or 50 times today. If he does, you got to figure he's throwing 6 to 8 of them to Cole Kmet. We're not really sure how much David Njoku is going to play. I'm going to lean Cole Kmet here as well. They're right back to back in my rankings, but very close.
Yeah, I think that I don't think Trevor Simeon's a better passer than Fields, but now you take away that option, so they have to throw more, which increases the value of people catching the ball on that team. So
it's just the volume play, right?
Yeah.
Like they just don't have that element anymore. So
yeah, I agree.
And he's not a better passer. You're right about that.
Yeah. Kansas City versus the Miami defense. Miami is playing Houston, and Kansas City is playing
the Rams with, I think, what's his name? Bryce Perkins.
Bryce Perkins. He's a dual threat, isn't he?
He can run. That's all. That's, I think, his only threat. I don't know if he can throw, but he can run.
They're both going against backup quarterbacks, right?
Oh yeah, Kyle Allen.
I'm going to go with Miami's defense. I think they just have the better. Kansas City doesn't really get a lot of sacks, where I feel like Miami.
I thought Kansas City was getting to the quarterback a bit better recently. I don't know. I think you're good either way here. These guys have got to be like 2 of the top ranked defenses. Let me see what Fantasy Pros has for defense.
I'll go with. Sorry. I was going to say I'll go with the coach that I think is not as good. So I think the Rams could find a way to score with Sean McVay as coach still, where I don't even know. Well, Lovie Smith, is that the coach of the?
Yeah, it is for now, for another couple of weeks.
I don't mind Lovie Smith, but I think maybe he's one of those guys that are best suited as a coordinator. So I'm going to go with Miami defense, hoping that they might just shut them down.
So it always comes down to who's going to turn the ball over more and who's going to get sacked more. And I think both these teams could turn the ball over. But I think that Houston could throw more interceptions. I think Perkins is going to be more legs and Kyle Allen will be more arm. So I will go with Miami as well. Fantasy Pros has Kansas City as the 2nd defense this week and Miami as the 6th. So for whatever that's worth.
Alvin Kamara or Christian Kirk?
Oh, I'm struggling with Christian Kirk this week. I wanted to get him into one of my lineups, and I can't. Kamara or Kirk. This might sound nuts, but I think it's Christian Kirk. I'm just worried about Kamara against San Francisco, and he's not getting targeted a ton, and he's not 100%. He hasn't been great.
He'd have to get all his points PPR. He'd have to get them all that way because he's not going to run against this team. I'm going to go. Oh man,
the Ravens are way better though since they added Rokon and it seemed like a better defense. They're not the same garbage defense that got shredded earlier in the year. I think this one's really tough.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Alvin Kamara. I think they have to get him they have to get him involved. So
I just changed my mind. You're right. It's volume. It's touches. He just has the guaranteed workload, right? Oh, we got a super chat.
We do. I got to scroll down to it. Okay. Ozzy with the super chat. Guys, if you didn't know, super chats move you to the front of the line. We'll go back.
Thank you, Ozzy. That's awesome.
Thank you, Ozzy. Fighting for a playoff spot. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty. Drop Nico Collins to pick up the Seattle defense as a bench stat. They play Rams, Panthers week 13 and 14. He's weakest player on my bench.
So, Ozzy, I want to know who your defense is now.
Yeah, Ozzy, can you quickly put who your defense is right now? I like that you're looking ahead like this.
I do too.
And I don't think it's a bad move because if Nico Collins is the weakest player on your bench, he's probably not making his way into your lineup unless you have a plethora of injuries.
Right.
So yeah, I guess why not? Depending on who your other defense is, if your other defense is like New England or somebody who's constantly getting a lot of sacks and interceptions, it seems like, or Dallas, who's also getting a ton of sacks. Broncos defense. So one you talked about was regressing. I'd
be tempted to just drop the Broncos for the Seahawks. And I understand that Seattle plays the Raiders this week, which is not as good as Denver's playing of Carolina. But if you want to hold the Broncos and roll with them this week and pivot to Seattle after that, I agree with Bryce. I don't see any problem with that whatsoever. Nico Collins is your worst player on your bench, then you're doing pretty good. So yeah, I think I'm with you, Bryce. I think if you can, go for it. Why not? This is the time of year in redraft leagues to do exactly what Ozzy is doing and look ahead. Especially, I'm going to assume he's fighting for a playoff spot. So this is how you pivot in redraft leagues to carrying like that extra defense or stream a QB or whatever else. Mm-hmm. Doing exactly the right things here. So I say go for it, man. And let us know how you do in the playoffs when you get there. That's cool.
Absolutely. Anthony Ruffin asked, JT, Wilson Jr., or Mike Evans, I'm assuming. Pick one. Also have Eckler and Walker. I'm assuming he's putting these guys in there because Eckler and Walker are his running backs. I would assume.
Yeah, the only Evan I can think of is like Chris Evans from Cincinnati, and he doesn't belong in this question.
Yeah. JT's the answer. So I'm just trying to decipher him. I'm assuming Eckler and Walker.
I think I'm Eckler over JT, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can't imagine that he's debating between these. Like, who would you have in your lineup over Austin Eckler and Jonathan Taylor? There's nobody. I can't even think of any unless you've got. There's no way you have. I'm assuming Eckler and Walker in his running back spot, and he's picking a flex. That's what I'm interpreting.
So he says I also have Eckler and Walker. So you're right. He's got. So I would probably, if that's the case, I would start JT, and then it doesn't matter what your flex spots, but I would go with JT, Eckler, and Wilson this week over Walker. That's what I would do.
So you'd pivot Walker into the flex spot and then replace him with Wilson Jr.
I would.
Who's Seattle played?
Raiders, which is not exactly something to fear, but I just, and maybe I'm setting everybody up for disappointment, but I just think Jeff Wilson runs all over that defense all day, and I don't know why he won't.
My DFS lineups this week consist of Samaje Perine, Rashad White, and Jeff Wilson Jr. at my flex/running back spots.
Yeah, I haven't finalized mine, but it's going to be a lot of White and a lot of Wilson. Yeah.
So I think I'll stick with Kenneth Walker because I think I just really, really, really like his usage as well. But I can't blame you for going. I mean, any of those four guys in your lineup, you're pretty stacked for this week. So. Gosh, a lot of defense questions today. Chiefs, Eagles, or Broncos defense?
All right. So again, real quick, Chiefs at home to the Rams, Eagles at home tomorrow, or is that tonight?
I think that's tonight against
the Packers.
Oh wait, no. They play earlier in the day, don't they?
No, it's tonight, Sunday nighter. Eagles home to Packers, okay. Chiefs in the afternoon home to the Rams, and the Broncos on the road in Carolina. I'm going to go with KC here. I think they make life hard on that young man. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers, even though he's not what he was. So you never know with the Philly defense. And I don't know. Carolina just runs the ball and gets tackled. They're not going to turn the ball over with Darnold, I don't think. So I think they'll be boring, but lose. So I like the upside of the Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing that the Packers don't do a ton is they don't turn the ball over.
Unless they're playing Detroit.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is good at avoiding sacks by whether it's throwing it away or getting rid of it quickly. So
he throws those straight into the ground, into the back of his offensive line that piss me off, but he's very good at it.
Zabby, half PPR, sit 2. Michael Pittman Jr., Chris Godwin, Brandon Ayuk, Antonio Gibson, Samaje Perine.
Sitting 2. Go ahead.
Antonio Gibson and Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, so I was going to say I'm sitting Ayuk, and now I'm struggling about the other one, and I think I'm with you. Pittman, target machine. Godwin, target machine. Perine should get all the work. Yeah, it's hard to sit Ayuk with, seeing him score 2 touchdowns, but that was only 2 catches. So that's a bit of maybe potential fool's gold. And Washington playing Atlanta, I think they throw the ball more than they run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think these are all fine plays this week. But if I'm forced to sit 2, I'm with you. It's Ayuk and Gibson.
Denver or the Philly defense?
Defense of Palooza today, hey?
No.
Here I'll go with Denver. I just don't really like, and I know Aaron Rodgers isn't 100%. He's got a bad thumb and that offense isn't great, but to Bryce's points, he's not going to throw picks and he's not going to get sacked. So what else? You got to shut him out then to score points.
Yeah, you got to hope for fumbles, and you got to hope for just no points getting scored.
I like Denver against Carolina. Sam Darnold is nothing to fear.
Yeah, they could score a lot. Carolina, it wouldn't surprise me, but it also wouldn't surprise me if they have multiple interceptions and sacks allowed. AJ Brown or Josh Palmer. AJ Brown hasn't scored 10 points in 2 weeks, and I think you see that when you got a mobile quarterback, you're going to see inconsistent play from wide receivers. But
and in an offense with another good wide receiver, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sitting AJ Brown.
Neither am I.
For Josh Palmer.
No, I just don't see how the Packers take away those options. And with Dallas Goedert still out, I think AJ Brown, provided he gets to play, he's a little sick, but he should. Guys usually beat illness. That usually doesn't knock guys out. So he should get to tonight and be involved in that offense. I like Palmer, but I'm not banking on that.
Sarah Riley asks, this is a hard one. Flex, Higgins, Jeff Wilson Jr. or Ayuk. And I think we can take Ayuk out of this, right? Go to Higgins or Jeff Wilson Jr. You've been all over Jeff Wilson Jr. today. Are you taking him over T. Higgins?
Jamar Chase has been officially ruled out. Oh, this is hard. Half point. Sticking with Jeff Wilson.
I think I'm going to roll with T. Higgins in this one.
I like it. Yeah. You want to put $5 on this one just for fun?
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
We got to have a bet today.
I got both of these guys in my DFS lineup, so I wouldn't mind if we see some Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, things that I seem to always lose every week.
Those are hard ones, man. Those are flip of coins.
Yeah. $5 bet every week against Rick, and I think I've only won like 1 week or 2 weeks because every time Waddle scores 35 points, Tyreek Hill scores 36. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure Rick cheats. I'm not sure how, but I'm pretty sure he does.
I just like what I mean. I knew Waddle would be better than he was last year, but I did not think that it was going to be like. I did not think their offense would be like this.
They're unbelievable.
Thanks for helping. Thanks for being in here, Minnie Jordan.
Absolutely.
What's up, Juju or Pacheco? Half PPR. This one's probably a little easier. You going with Juju as well?
I am. We've talked about it immensely here. He's the only real viable, other than Kelsey, of course, for Kansas City, and Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. So Juju for me. I think he scores this week.
Yep, Juju for me as well. Pacheco would be more involved in the run game. It'd be different, or a pass game. But
he doesn't catch any. He doesn't get targets. Doesn't get catches. That's what McKinnon's job is.
Derek Carr versus Seattle or Taylor Heineke versus the Falcons.
I have to look at the old rankings sheet here. Carr and Heineke. I have Carr ranked higher. He's the better quarterback. I think he's got Devontae Adams, so I'll roll with him.
Yeah, I think these guys are pretty comparable at quarterback, but I'll take the guy who's got the better weapons with Derek Carr.
Heineke gives you a little bit with his legs too. He can run a bit, but and the Falcons, there I said it right, suck. But that said, I think Derek Carr could do. Derek Carr did great last week against Denver, which I was totally wrong about. He just played fantastic. So maybe they figured something out. I'll roll with Carr.
Absolutely. Oh, lost my spot here. Where do we go? Where'd I go?
I think we're
start Josh Palmer at the Cardinals or questionable Deebo Samuels versus the Saints.
Man, I feel like I'm kind of hating on Deebo this week.
I think it's warranted. He hasn't really been that great this year. I'm curious to see, is Josh Palmer outscoring Deebo Samuel this year?
Season, like year to date?
Yeah.
Ooh, it'd be close, but I don't think so.
I bet it's close.
I'm going to stick with I'll go with Deebo here. Don't love it, though.
Let's see if I can find Deebo on here. Okay, Deebo is averaging 14.3 points a week, where Josh Palmer is averaging 12.5.
That's not crazy when you consider that for a bunch of this season, Palmer's had some viable competition in his offense. Deebo's been their guy for a long time, but I guess he's got a lot of competition in that offense now too.
You stuck with Deebo here?
Yeah. This won't go either way, man. I wouldn't bet a nickel on this.
I think I'm gonna go with Josh Palmer.
I don't blame you.
I don't feel like the Deebo is questionable. I could see them just like him being out there but not being utilized because of it.
I don't blame you at all.
Where Palmer is now number 2. And he always steps up when he's at the second option. He wasn't that great. He was okay as a number 1 option, but he's just best suited as a number 2. And there's just some receivers that are like that.
Yep, I agree.
Ooh, Kenneth Walker or Rashad White?
Sheesh.
I'm going to go with Rashad White this week.
I'm sticking with Kenneth Walker. I just think that I don't know, man. This one's hard, but Kenneth Walker's the guy in Seattle, and they're not going away from him. I do see a potential for Tampa to throw a ton with all their receivers healthy, even though the weather's not that great. So just based on what I believe will be more volume for Walker versus White, I will go with Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I like both options a lot.
Totally do.
Burrow or Tua? We had one, I think, just exactly.
We had this earlier, yeah.
And we both went Joe Burrow.
We did. But again, I like both a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Would you guys consider sitting Kamara for Adam Lazard? Because he does not like Kamara's matchup. Yeah, I'd say no on this one, just because Kamara is efficient in the pass game, which it wouldn't surprise me if he had more receptions and receiving yards than Alan Lazard today.
I respectfully wouldn't consider this for a second.
Yeah, nope. I would consider sending Kamara, but not for that option.
Correct. And, Christian Watson's rise is Alan Lazard's demise.
Look at all these defense questions today. This is wild.
This
Denver
is awesome.
versus Carolina or Pittsburgh versus the Colts, and I think this one's a little easier for me. I'll go Pittsburgh with the turnover possibility and the sacks that Pittsburgh can get.
Yeah, like seriously, TJ Watt could have 5 or 6 sacks in that game, and it wouldn't surprise me. And then once that pressure's happening and Matt Ryan being sort of a statuesque quarterback, you try to get rid of the balls because you get sick of getting hit, and you make some bad decisions. So I'm with you on the Steelers. I think they're a really nice, sneaky defense this week.
A lot of Debo. Christian Kirk or Debo?
This really hurts me. I don't know. They are back-to-back in my rankings. Debo at 16 and Kirk at 17. And I will, just because of that, stick with Debo, but I just don't know. Obviously, you're asking this question because it's a challenge for you as well, but I will go with Debo. He's the better player. That's the only reason I'm going that way. What are you doing, Bryce?
I'm going to stick with Debo here. I like Kirk a lot, but he's been super, super inconsistent this year. Where Debo at least has had a decent floor throughout the season.
He's going to get the ball.
Big weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Start 2, half PPR. Ayuk, Juju, Josh Palmer, Tyler Boyd. Keep up the good job, boys. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler. Palmer's one of them, right?
Yeah, Palmer's in for me. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're gonna agree on this one. I
think I'm Palmer Juju.
Yeah, I am too. Boyd's out of it for me. Been super, super, super disappointing.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase went down. Was his last good game, like really good game, was when Jamar Chase played, wasn't it?
I think so. I had a lot of Tyler Boyd in DFS last week. I thought he was in a smash spot, and he had nothing until the end of the game. I think he had 2 catches late, but I don't trust Ayuk because we don't know where the ball's going to go there. Boyd has been disappointing. I think it's Juju and Palmer. Fairly straightforward.
I agree. I mean, I think Juju and Ayuk are somewhat close because Ayuk seems like he gets a lot of more work than I thought he would this year, especially on that stacked offense. But still, Juju has the best quarterback in the league throwing it to him. So
I think
I'll go with Juju and Palmer. These defensive questions.
This is awesome. Love it. If I only knew what I was talking about.
Commanders or the Chiefs defense? Who do the Commanders play?
They play Atlanta at home in a bit of a rain game. So they don't throw the ball enough, though, right? Atlanta's just going to run the ball 400 times.
They'd have to get fumbles. I'll go Chiefs defense for that, and then I'll go Komet here. I know you're a Dolchik guy. You going Dolchik?
I am. I don't know. I selfishly need him this week, so I might. But Chiefs over Commanders for me. Although I hope the Commanders lay a licking on Atlanta because I hate them for what they've done to me this year. Komet, Hurst, or Dulcich? It's not Hurst. I have Dulcich ranked higher than Cole Komet, I think. Let me check really quick. I like I do have him higher. I'll go with Greg Dulcich, but I think that it's the tight end who scores the touchdown is the one that you wanted to start. And I know that that's a simplistic cop-out answer. The reality is you guys all suck. They're probably all like 4 or 5 for 50. And if you get that, you're going to be thrilled because 9 points is a top 12 tight end. It's tough. But Dulcich, I think, has the best chance to score this week. So that's my reasoning.
That's fair. He has been getting a decent amount of work in that offense. So this one's fairly easy for me. Who are you going with out of these 3?
It's Devonta Smith, but I want to say Paris Campbell.
Really? It's Devonta Smith by a wide margin for me, but it wouldn't surprise me if Paris Campbell had.
Paris is just getting a ton of work with Matt Ryan. So, but I do think Devonta Smith is the guy here for sure.
Yeah, he's got a nice floor.
Yeah.
Outside of week 1, he's been relatively consistent this year. He's had a couple of crappier weeks, but I think that was also weather dependent. So. Who should I put in my flex? James Robinson, Elijah Mitchell, Brandon Cooks, or Jahan Dotson? These are not great options.
It's not James Robinson.
Nope. It's not Jahan Dotson for me.
Nope. It's probably Elijah Mitchell.
I think
Cooks?
It's Cooks. Yeah.
I can't argue that. The concerning part with Elijah Mitchell is not the ability, it's the amount, right? Like, so we're just not really sure how Shanahan seems to let us try to figure it out and then goes and does something different every week. So, the first week that Elijah Mitchell was back, he had more touches than Christian McCaffrey, which was crazy. So I figured that would be close. And then he had 1 touch in the first half and McCaffrey went crazy against Arizona. So San Francisco's probably going to be up against the Saints. I think Mitchell gets a lot of run late. That's why I'm going to go that way. I don't trust Cooks with Kyle Allen. I don't really like Cooks with anyone right now. So, yeah, I'll go Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, I can't blame you for that.
It's risky.
Yeah, it's just so confusing in the Niners. Like, there's really nobody outside of Christian McCaffrey I feel comfortable plugging in every week. I guess George Kittle's an all right option, but
yeah, there's
touchdown dependent at this point. So
there's 2 guys I'm comfortable with starting in most leagues from that offense, and it's Garoppolo and McCaffrey.
Yep. Hey, all PPR league: Montgomery, Rashad White, or Jeff Wilson. And then another PPR league: pick 2: Hollywood Brown, Scary Terry, and Marquise Goodwin.
Or is that Chris Godwin?
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris Godwin. Sorry.
Okay. So I'm picking between Montgomery, White, and Wilson.
Yep. Who you picking?
Man, those are 3 awesome options this week. I've been all Jeff Wilson all day long. I think I'm sticking with Jeff Wilson there. Man, that's tough. PPR League pick 2, Hollywood, Terry, and Godwin. I'm going to sit. Godwin for sure is in. What did I do?
I don't know why I could not think of who Hollywood Brown is because I've been calling him Marquise all year.
It's okay. You're just proper.
I'm like, what's going on? Oh, it's Marquise. I don't know why I keep doing that.
I'm gonna sit Brown.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with the Brown, but I'm gonna go with Rachaad White. Do you want to do a $5 bet on Rachaad White and Wilson? Because we've been like,
yeah, let's do it.
We both have them like real close.
They're both our boy this week, hey?
Yeah.
So let's do it. That'll be a fun one. I like it.
I really wish I had some. Oh, I have one. Or no, I have no Jeff Wilson Jr. So no.
I have a league where I'm rebuilding and my team is laughable. And I was trying to get rid of some players and I threw Jeff Wilson in early this season, just literally a throw in. And now I'm like, what the hell? Like, it's just crazy how things can work out sometimes.
Yep. And in this question, I think we just answered. We're each going the other. So I'm going Rachaad. He's going Jeff Wilson Jr.
And I sure hope that whichever one you pick is the right answer, Steven.
I think neither of them are the wrong answer.
I think they're both top 10 guys this week.
It was like this week. On Thursday, I was telling you I should have started them both, but I made the ballsy decision to start in a superflex Mac Jones over Kirk Cousins, and technically I was wrong, but it was by like less than a point. They both.
Who's your other quarterback?
Ryan Tannehill. I thought he's been playing well. He rushes touchdowns a lot more. So.
I would have started Tannehill and Cousins. So
yeah,
I think the Mac Jones call was brilliant.
Yeah,
surprising but good.
I felt dirty putting in Kurt or Jones over Kirk because it felt like a homer pick, but I saw what Dallas did and I thought New England could maybe do something similar, but
Cousins doesn't exactly light it up when everyone's watching either, so right. I don't blame you there.
Yeah,
he pulled it out of his butt this week.
So I mean, you don't get destroyed 2 weeks like that in a row oftentimes. So
not usually, and if you make it a rule to just throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, you'll probably be better more times than not.
Yeah, absolutely. Lawrence or Mariota?
A little bit different.
Who does Atlanta play?
Washington.
Lawrence plays against I got it right here.
Ravens, yep. I'm going to go with T-Law.
I think I am too. I think I'm going to agree with you.
Raheem Mostert is officially out. Demarcus Robinson is active.
Gus Edwards is officially active too. He was not.
James Robinson is a healthy scratch.
Oh no! Who's the backup? I don't.
It'll be Ty Johnson.
I think that I'm going to say this now, and I think that Salah might be one of those coaches that might be best off as a coordinator.
I don't know, but I think. A couple of weeks ago, both the New York teams looked really good, and I think they're both about to fall right out of the playoffs. So.
Yeah, I thought both were kind of fool's gold. Like I did not think the Jets. The Jets' defense are what keeping them in games.
Logan Thomas is active. Gus Edwards is active. James Robinson, healthy scratch. That's wild. So it'll be Michael Carter and Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson might find his way into a DFS lineup or two later on today.
Christian Watson, Cortland Sutton, Chris Godwin. Brandon Ayuk need to. What is the Tampa Bay weather looking like today? Is it that bad?
I didn't think it was that bad, but let me revisit. It is 51 degrees, raining, with a 8-mile-an-hour wind. I don't think it's that bad.
That's not that bad.
Is it?
No, that's not terrible. Depends on how heavy the rain is, for sure.
Doesn't tell me here. It looks like it's going to rain the whole game.
But Chris Godwin could be 5-yard catches all day.
That's what I was going to say. Is like his ADOT won't be anything, but he could catch 15 passes, right? That's probably a little extreme, but he might catch 8 to 10 passes for 70 to 80 yards. And if he scores, he's going to do better than.
Yep. Julian Edelman's stat line.
There you go.
Christian Watson and Chris Godwin for me.
I've been going against Watson all day long.
Yeah.
And I like Sutton, but I will join you on this one. I don't know why I saw this, but I can't remember where I saw it, but Julian Edelman was being interviewed, and they were asking him about the time that Brady had his Deflategate suspension, and you guys started with Garoppolo, and then you had to pivot to Jacoby Brissett. And Garoppolo got hurt, and then Brissett got hurt, and apparently Garoppolo was healthy enough to play, but ruled himself out. And he talked about how pissed off he was because Brissett had like torn ligaments in his thumb and played that game. I thought it was pretty interesting to see behind the curtain with Edelman. He was not pulling any punches about what he thought about Jimmy G.
Yeah. I think that's why, there were reasons where I know that Belichick wanted to keep him, but Robert Kraft, I think heard about this and knew that the locker room wouldn't get behind Jimmy G.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Belichick was wrong on that one for sure. But
Benjamin's out. Not that really matters.
So who you going with here? Did you pick?
Joining you, I'm going to go Watson and Godwin.
Good. All right. Good morning. I know Chubb is a must start. Is he? What do you think will get more points between Chubb, Evans, and Cooper? I don't know if Chubb is a must start. This is a terrible matchup, isn't it? Didn't they get play Tampa Bay? Terrible matchup for Chubb.
It's not great.
I think I would start, man, with maybe the weather being a little bit crappier. Chubb might get a lot of touches, but I think I would go Chubb and Cooper here still.
I'm sticking with Chubb.
But who do you think gets more points between the three? Amari Cooper. That's my answer. And I'm not confident between these three options in that answer because these are all three really good players.
I think Mike Evans probably scores, and that's his biggest challenge lately. Cooper's great at home, but the weather is a little bit of a factor because Evans could be that 3 catches for 8 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's what this game feels like for me. Chubb should get a significant amount of work. Kareem Hunt has really fallen off a cliff in Cleveland and hasn't done much, although he looked better last week than Chubb. So
that's true.
I think Evans scores the most points here, but I would have a hard time not starting Chubb.
Pick one. B-Rob, A-Rob, Deontay Foreman, Justin Watson. Well, Allen Robinson's not playing today, I don't think, right?
No, and I don't think you can start anything in that Rams offense right now.
Yeah. I think this is an easy one. I think Deontay Foreman's the pick here.
It's not Brian Robinson. It's not Allen Robinson.
Justin Watson. That's who that is.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was Christian Watson.
Yeah, there's Christian Watson to be him. It's Justin Watson.
Foreman. Yes, please.
Yeah. Foreman. One tight end. Foster Moreau, Isaiah Thomas, or Will Dissly. So it's probably between Foster Moreau and Isaiah Thomas here.
Is that Logan Thomas?
Logan Thomas. Who'd I say?
Isaiah.
Oh, sorry. Logan.
That's okay.
Isaiah Thomas is.
I don't know. Sounds like
my dog
sounds like a point guard. All good. It's Logan Thomas for me.
It's Logan Thomas for me as well. He finally got a little bit more action last week. Kind of came back from his injury really, really slow with 2 terrible weeks.
He did. Good puppies.
My wife
Good
was
puppies.
outside, and the dogs go nuts. So
because they miss her already.
Yeah, I know.
That's all.
Logan. All right. Bobby Lee Jr. asked Njoku or Komet full PPR, and I think I'll go with Komet.
I think we had this one earlier, and we went with Komet as well, both of us. So I'll stick with that. That one's close for me, but yeah, I think we went that way.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for questions.
Is that it?
It goes way faster when we have only 2 people in here. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit in here, or we've already been on for an hour and 15 minutes. So,
what's your toughest decision today?
I think I asked to you earlier, didn't I? What did I ask?
I can remember you did ask me.
Oh shoot! I gotta look. Hey, quit whining.
Come say hi, puppy.
He's standing up on the door over there. Quit. Come here. That's enough. What is my toughest option here? Jeez.
So here's my guillotine league. I have Hurts at quarterback. I have James Conner, Nick Chubb as my running backs. I flexed Ramondre on Thursday. Diggs and Lamb went on Thursday. So my choices now are I have Conner, Chubb, and Aaron Jones. So I need 2 of those guys. And if I don't go with all 3, then I can flex Christian Watson, Chris Olave, or Christian Kirk. And right now I'm going with the 3 running backs.
Yeah, I think
it's PPR.
Well. Oh, the one I asked earlier, it was Rachaad White versus Aaron Jones.
Well, you're Rachaad White, aren't you?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I'm still Aaron Jones, but I don't know why, but I have a bad feeling about Aaron Jones this week. But I'm rolling with him. So,
alrighty, we'll answer these last questions and we'll get out of here because
sounds good to me, man. We'll
go eat some
set some crappy DFS lineups and get ready for the game.
All right, Jeff Fields McCormick comes back with good morning, gentlemen. Start one wide receiver and 1 flex. He's got Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, James Conner, Travis Etienne. He's leaning Cooper and Evans.
So we've been kind of back and forth on Cooper and Evans in a couple of questions earlier today, and I think you're Cooper and I'm Evans. So I'm going to stick with Evans here. And I would consider ETN over Cooper, but no, I think I'm with you, Jeff. And thanks for being here yet again, Jeff, by the way. I'm going to go with Cooper and Evans here as well.
Who does Arizona play today?
They play the Chargers at home.
Man, I really like James Conner this week too, but he's super touchdown dependent. I'm going to go with Amari Cooper and Travis Etienne here. Man, all of these options are really good. Like most of my leagues, all 4 of these guys would be starting for me.
Man, Connor is in a sweet matchup against the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about him, but Travis Etienne's usage is just, I mean, he gets so many touches, and he's very efficient in all forms of the game. Even though I think James Conner is one of those guys that's overlooked a lot in how much he's used in the pass game.
I worry about ETN just because I don't know how Baltimore's defense plays with, like when they made those trades and got Roquan Smith, they seem to just elevate their entire defense. So I don't, without looking it up, don't know exactly how they are against pass catching running backs. But surprisingly enough, when you look at ETN's numbers, he's not getting targeted a ton. He's doing it mostly on the ground, which is surprising to me. Cooper and Evans in bad weather. All right, I'm pivoting. I'm going to go with Mike Evans and James Conner.
Mike Evans and James Conner.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Amari Cooper and James Conner.
I think I'm going
to change. I really like James Conner this week. I need him in a week, so it might be a selfish.
I need him too. So we'll both be homers or selfish guys there.
You watching the soccer match, Sully? Oh, Canada playing right now?
Fairness, Thomas, with all due respect, they could be playing that in my backyard and I wouldn't watch it. So I struggle to get into football, but and Canada's horrible.
Dude, people are going nuts here over the United States because they're not playing too bad.
Yeah.
But
did they?
Like, cool.
How'd they do against England? Did they tie
tied
that one?
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, they were supposed to lose.
Yeah, Canada's not a very good soccer nation. We're not really good at anything other than hockey. So, no, I probably should be watching it, Thomas. But how can I watch it when I have this awesome task?
To be fair, a lot of athletes and people come over to the United States from Canada.
Well, Canada just tied it.
There you go.
1-1 with Croatia. That's like a win. We'll party in the streets of Canada tonight if that finishes that way.
All 5 people will be out there with a couple
of
moose.
Just antlers everywhere, baby.
What it do, baby? Should I be worried about Cleveland weather? Got Brady and Rachaad White going against Godwin.
Stick with those guys.
Yeah, stick with them. I mean, it depends on who your other quarterback is, but Rachaad White is solid this week. The weather doesn't really affect running backs too much, right? Because if anything, their volume goes up. Sure, the yards might suck because then defenses don't have to worry about the pass game as much. Might be able to go single coverage and stack.
Yeah, and think about who this quarterback is. It's Tom Brady, and
they're talking about him on ESPN right now too.
He's the best freaking quarterback ever. We all know that. But he's also probably played more shitty weather games than any other quarterback in his career. based on the number of games he's played and the fact that he played in New England for as long as he did. He's played in rain, he's played in snow, he's played in wind, he's played in everything. No one's better prepared for this than he is. He'll be fine. And I think that Tampa offense sort of flicked a switch and figured some stuff out their last game. So I'd confidently start Brady, and Rachaad White's in we've talked about it all morning. He's in such a great spot. Just slam it. Go for it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Last question for one of the OGs, Jaws, Logan Thomas, Robert Tonyan, or Cade Otton. This is between Logan Thomas and Cade Otton for me. I'm really looking at Cade Otton, what he's done recently. I have him right.
Not much since Brake came back, but that's only been like 2 games, I think. 1 game maybe. This one's Logan Thomas for me.
Yeah, they had a bye, they had a bye last week, right?
They did, and Brake was back the week before in England against Seattle.
He had 8 points, and then the week before that was the big week against the Rams where he caught the
I think Brate's that red zone guy now that he's back, so that takes him away. Tanyan's hit and miss. I think it's Logan Thomas.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you, Logan Thomas. All right, last question for Den.
Ooh, guillotine league question.
This is your specialty. Wide receiver spot and 2 flex options: A.J. Brown, Chris Olave, Mike Evans, Rachaad White, Christian Watson, and I'm assuming that's Jeff Wilson Jr.?
Yeah, so I'm going to get Wilson, and I'm going to get White in my lineup. So there goes.
Right there with you.
Full PPR, final wide receiver. So those are my flexes, are both the backs.
Yep.
And this is really hard. Evans, Olave, Brown. I'm going to go the weather's shit in 2 of those places.
I think I'm going to go with the good weather. I'm going to go with Chris
Olave. I just worry about volume.
Man, wait, I might have went A.J. Brown earlier, but the weather.
We did.
The weather.
I'm sticking with oh, man.
Oh, that's Garrett Wilson. That's Garrett Wilson.
Is it?
Yep, he messaged two chats later.
Okay, so now we're getting a little easier. It's Rachaad White, Olave, and Mike Evans for me. No, I can't. It's Brown, Evans, White for me.
Brown, Evans, White. Brown, Olave.
You're going Olave over Evans?
White for me. Yeah,
I love it. This is what makes guillotine league so good. You just lose your mind this late in the season.
Yep.
All right, one more.
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep.
Should have got out when you could have, hey?
Okay, I'm a little confused here. Cordarrelle Patterson, Gibson, Swift, or Foreman. Swift already played.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming.
So take him out. We're down to Foreman, CPAT, and Gibson. I will go with Foreman.
I'll go with Cordarrelle Patterson. Bounce back week coming. Even though he had a good week last week, but not fantasy wise, because he had the touchdown return on a kickoff. Dude's just an athlete. So I'll take Cordarrelle Patterson. And that'll be it for us, guys. Thanks so much for coming in here. Get on our Facebook page, Roto Heat Dynasty Fantasy Football. Lots of stuff on there. Ask any more questions if you're seeing this after we end the stream. People will get on there and answer it real fast for you. So we will see you guys next week. And I have confidence our fearless leader will be back. So
he will.
All righty. Anything else you want to say, Sully?
No, man. Just my wife's blowing up my phone. She wants me to order breakfast, so I should probably go.
Yeah, get that ready. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Good luck.